Dance has been busy. Like last year alone, they dropped the OWS Pro or the OWS 2 right here. Both air conduction over the earbuds that were pretty well received. However, if you've been looking at their catalog and have been bummed not seeing a wraparound headphone, kind of like, a Shox Open Run, well, you'd be happy to know that Dance has finally launched this, the OWS Sport, and it's probably the handsomest of all the brands, I can say that. And on paper, looks like the be-all and end-all of air conduction headphones. But is it? That's what this video is all about, guys. We're gonna look at the specs and then check out the app, run the usual battery of gear up tests, talk about the pros and cons that I found, then round up with a final score. If you're ready, let's do this. The Dance OWS 2 is $180 retail, and it comes in 4 really well done colorways, but with really weird names like, get this, epinephrine gray and dopamine pink. But anyways, this thing has Bluetooth 5.1 with SBC and aptX HD. AAC is strangely missing. There's also multi-point Bluetooth capability, but another weird part, it's only available if you disable aptX HD first for some odd reason. These have rectangular drivers, like 23 by 10 millimeters. The weight on the earbuds themselves is 26 grams and IPX8 water resistance, but the company stresses that these are not for swimming, guys. You can just shower with it, submerge it, but don't go swimming. There are 2 mics on board for phone calls with wind noise reduction. Battery life is monster, 16.4 hours I got on average at 65% volume running at aptX HD, which really makes this one of the longest lasting out there. If anything, these things look bloody amazing in whatever colorway you choose, and everything is well put together. The seam lines are barely discernible, nice and tight. Material wise, whatever contacts your skin is silicone, nice and soft and supple, not the kind that feels like it will degrade over time. The titanium core for the neckband is common fare for earbands nowadays, but it is really nice and supple as well. That's wrapped around by silicone. It's non-bendable or moldable like a bendy Gumby, but this is also common nowadays. It's same thing with the ear hooks. Controls wise, we have a power button on the right here that also serves as pairing, volume up, volume down. And on the left, they have what they call a multi-function button that handles single, double, triple taps, customizable in the app, track forward, backward, as well as activating your voice control and things like that. There are a lot of Dance logos around this thing, but on the main module right here, or this back module, is primarily the battery. And I'll talk more about this later on. This kind of affects the weight balance front and rear, at least on my ears. So something to try out and take note of when you get these is to really see how they fit. But I really like the little embellishments like the metal mesh grill right here. Venting port is right there, and at the front this bright yellow and the venting port as well. It differs from color to color, so it's really cool that way as well. Charging contact points is right there, magnetic. It's proprietary, and other than that, yeah, this thing really looks nice in pictures and looks even better in your hand. Oh my goodness, I am so winded, guys. You know how I do things, right? The running segment, testing earbuds. I've done so many takes and too many earbuds right now. I am totally wiped. But anyways, the show must go on. I'm doing the OWS Sport right now, Bluetooth range test. There's no sun, unfortunately, either today of all times. This thing has HDR, but it can't do it for the life of itself because just the lack of light. So I thought I'd wear some yellow to bring some sunshine into your screens and to warm your hearts. Anyways, I have Eva Cassidy playing Songbird. I miss her. I wish she didn't die prematurely. She's an amazing musician. Eva Cassidy playing on my OnePlus Open, piping it through the Ola Dances. And where I'm standing is around 25 feet away. Oh, by the way, while I was doing all my takes, FedEx dropped this off. So check this out. I'll be reviewing this soon. The Gold Zero portable fridge freezer would be awesome for camping and also RVing and such like that. And they also dropped off a skylight, which is like a outdoor huge lighting system or something. Yeah, it would be on my other channel. But anyways, let's walk around the side of my house and see when we get any kind of right there on spec. We're around 36 feet away from the phone and it just started cutting out left and right there. Right now music is just hopping in and out and left and right ear. It's pointless to listen to and we're not getting a disconnect signal. So I think you can hit around 80 feet down there before we get a full disconnect, but I'm not gonna do that. But let's try running, or my version of running right now. I'm so tired. The fit of these, this is a big one, guys. It really depends on the size of your head. I would just wish they put so much effort into the design, and I wish they've gone the route of, like, say, Shocks, who produce 2 different sizes. Because on my head right now with this, and I have a medium-sized head, it shifts around so much because they have a bigger battery pack than the competition, or whatever, driver module and all that combination. It shifts around in my head so much. Right now I feel it bobbing around on the back of my earlobe, and sometimes it hits my collar. It's really annoying. I've tried shifting this a lot, and that's something to bear in mind. If you have a bigger head, or if you have better fit, I think power to you, you know. So make sure you try it out if you're really interested in this, and check for the fit most of all. So there you have it. But otherwise, you know, if it wasn't for that, I love these. They fit really, they look really nice. They sound pretty good, and the volume is really nice and loud for when you're working out outdoors. The OWS Sport has 2 mics on board, and I believe they're both on the right earpiece. Olodance, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Here comes some traffic as we gather some sound samples.
You can hear how this thing handles my voice quality as well as noise suppression. That's a big part here because
noise suppression, I feel, or have tested multiple times, it gets
overwhelmed pretty easy, so it's not best in class, but at least it's not the worst I've heard so far.
Voice quality, it pushes towards a little bit of a bassier, warmer
push, and so it sounds rich, but yet not. The voice quality at the end of the day, when you dig deeper into it, it's not super great, but I mean, it's good, it's serviceable, but I wouldn't say it's like class leading or anything.
So something to take note of. But again, just like any open air earbuds, I love that open feeling when you're
taking phone calls. I'm talking to you right now. I can hear everything going on. Some of you may not like that distraction, but I love it because, you know, it's situational awareness. But anyways, let's head back to the studio.
Yes, I lied. We're not in the studio, but I just had to test this out. I ran back in and grabbed the OWS2. Besides the OWS1 that the company still makes, this is the cheapest model, $50 less than that. How does this sound? It actually sounds better, isn't it? I think it peaks a little bit easier, so that's why I think they rounded up the voice quality on the OWS Sport to be bassier, so it doesn't peak as high. But I think overall my voice quality sounds better, and noise suppression is around the same as well. So maybe it has to do with the location of the mic, because that one I think is both on one side and this is more spatial, like both one on left, one on right, like traditionally. So maybe that makes a whole difference. But anyways, this is anecdotal, just for fun. Put it this way, Olodance has got their product design part nailed down, guys, from the packaging to the product itself. I can imagine how the OWS Sport must have gone through like tons of revisions before given the final seal of approval. Like the main module right here, it looks like nacelles from a Starfleet ship. The ergonomics are spot on. Everything is put together tighter than a tick on a dog. The companion app is as clean and straightforward as they come, guys. Like front and center right here is the battery levels and direct access to touch controls customization for single, double, triple taps. Next to that is the audio profile and also a 5-band EQ. And when you tap settings, you can swap between aptX HD or multi-point and adjust left-right sound balance, for example. Now on the flip side, with the amount of bright white space throughout the app, it would have been nice to have some kind of like dark mode for friendlier low light use. If you've been watching my videos on pretty much any air conduction gear, you might have seen me routinely place sound quality as a neutral item, because the fact is, they suck at bass, no matter how good they are in other areas. There's just no way around it, guys, because when you pass low frequency through air from a small source, even relative to the distance from your ear, it's just not going to give you the kick you want, especially in a product meant for working out. Now, I repeatedly say this last part because this is true. Studies have shown that low frequency music elicits a stronger neural response, like giving people a heightened sense of power and control. Plus, increases the urge to move by nearly 12%. That's huge. And you can quote me on that, guys, because I know I say a lot of useless things on this channel, But if there's just one takeaway from this video, I hope you leave with that little nugget of info that, bass makes you feel better during workouts. But anyways, the fact that SQ right now is in the negatives means I did not enjoy the default overall sound of the OWS Sport. I mean, if you just listen to this thing by itself in ISO, it's fine. It doesn't blow any doors away. But if you check out the marketing hoopla around these on their website, you'll see words like home theater, virtual cinema, words like that frequently thrown around. So it seems like the kind of tuning Oladance was going for is exactly what my ears heard ultimately, which was everything felt more expansive, like had a broader stereo effect, and some of you may like that. Compared to the One More S50 and the Shox Open Fit, for example, bass on these feel warmer and cocooning with a wider, more reverby soundstage, backed by plenty of power and composure if you care to max out the volume. And that's about it. Whatever DSP tuning used in these, in my opinion, kind of moved the OWS Sport a step backwards from even the $50 less OWS2. The OWS2 in comparison has greater dynamic range and clarity with a still decent amount of low end. On these things, electric guitars, for example, sound woolly at the deep end and peaky at the lower highs. Vocals, at least, had good detail and attack, but like drum thwacks sound more like drum thuds. So for context, if I were to rank the stuff I own right now, I'll start with the Soundcore Aerofit Regular right at the bottom, and then the Shox Open Fit, and then followed by these. And then after that, it will be the OWS2, and then the Aerofit Pro, and then the One More S50 right at the top. This, my friends, is my collection of proprietary charging cables collected over the years. Even though this situation is partly due to what I do, I guess, this kind of practice by brands locks consumers into a particular product ecosystem, as well as limits access to replacement cables in case of an emergency. Like if you lose the cable when you're out and about on your travels, for example, you're pretty much done. Now, another knock against the charging cable is a really weak magnet. Other brands have this really positive lock even as you get close. This thing, has this really weak sauce draw, and it comes off pretty easily. The OWS Sport is an unusual misstep for what is really an excellent startup company. Like their OWS2 and Pro are fantastic, but this one, its audio tuning is a miss for me. That home cinema DSP or whatever they want to call it wants to bring that bass, but ends up messing with the cohesiveness of the mids and highs. Now, if this was a beauty contest, however, this would definitely be my favorite of the lot.